everyone, my name is Kat, or the Fairy Librarian, and welcome back to a new reading vlog. If you remember the last vlog, which for you was last week, for me was 3 hours ago, you remember that it ended on a cliffhanger because I had finished winter and I had no idea what to read next. So some time has passed. I did some schoolwork, and then I decided to start The Atlas 6 by Olivie Blake. This is very popular on TikTok. I have seen some people on YouTube read it as well, and those reviews are incredibly mixed. There are some people who really enjoyed it, there are some people who hate it, and I have honestly no idea which side I will fall on. I'm curious. But yeah, I'm gonna start this one. I haven't read anything in it yet, but I just wanted to resolve the cliffhanger of the last video, which I'm sure kept you up every night in the past week, because you're that invested in my reading life. But so yeah, that's what I'm gonna read. I'm also still reading Unseelie by Ivelisse Housman and Dreaming the Eagle. I also haven't had a chance to read anything in that yet, so I don't really have anything else to say, except for, hi, welcome. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Bye. Hi. I just noticed that I haven't updated you guys on anything since the clip on Monday where I opened the vlog. I thought I had, but apparently I haven't, or else the footage got lost somewhere. So let's get you up on some things, because there's quite a few things to talk about. Is this Monday now, by the way? So yeah, in that opening clip, I told you that I was going to start The Atlas 6 by Olivie Blake. I read the prologue, which is like 3 pages, and I don't even remember what happens in it. So that's how bad of a job I did, because I just wasn't feeling it. And I think that is not necessarily the book's fault. It's just because I had a book hangover from finishing winter last week, and I just wasn't feeling anything that I was reading at the time. So I decided to just put it down for now, because like I'm now in a headspace where I could pick up something else, but I'm just not in the mood anymore for this type of story necessarily. So I'm just gonna put it down for now and start it over on a later day, when I am in a mood and when I give it like the best chance of me really liking it. So that was the Atlas 6. So I needed a palette cleanser. I didn't necessarily have anything in mind for what that would be, but I knew that I just wanted something very quick and easy and lighthearted. So I went to the library and I found what I was looking for. This was like, this cover was the vibe I was going for. The synopsis had a trope that I really like, where the main character inherits an estate in another country where either they've never been before or they used to go there all the time as a kid, but that was a different part of their life. It doesn't fit their life today anymore, but they go back initially with the idea of selling it, but then they find reasons to keep it and to stay. That's a trope I really like, and this book had that. I couldn't find an English version of this, so it probably doesn't exist. Um, so I try to go with English titles if they're available for the books that I talk about, no matter what the original language is. But as I said, this one doesn't have one, so I'll go with the original title, which is in German, and I keep forgetting it. Hang on. Der Jasminblütengarten by Elena Conrad. This is the debut, I believe, and you can kind of tell in places that the writing itself is a little inexperienced, but the story is fun. This book is truly a love letter to Italy, more specifically the region of Liguria, I think is how you pronounce it in English, which is a region in the north of Italy where this estate is. It's a bit of its version of the trope, by the way, because it's not the main character who inherits, but the main character's mother. And the mother wants to sell it, but the main character wants to keep it, and so she's trying to convince her mother to keep it. And then there's some things because the townspeople, like the family has a history, and the town people refer to that, but no one actually wants to tell her what exactly that is. And then her mother sort of turned her back on Italy and her grandfather, and never looked back. Our main character didn't even know she still had a grandfather. So there's some secrets that need to be uncovered. So I'm really enjoying it. There is a romantic component to this, but it's super not a romance. It's really not a central plot point, but it's there. I don't love the romance. I think it was quite insta-lovey. We don't really know a lot about the love interest, and just the way, like, they have a fight already for quite a while. Now I'm about 60%. It started like at a quarter or something. So it's just the way that went is kind of dumb. So yeah, I don't know. But aside from that, I'm enjoying it. Is it the best book ever written? No. Is it going to be a new favorite? Also, no. But I'm having a fun time, which is what I wanted. So that is this book. While I was there looking for a book, I also found something else that I took with me, which is The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, which is the, if you go in publication order, the third Sherlock Holmes book and the first short story collection, because the first two are full-length novels. So the way I do short stories, I usually go one a day, and then this vlog format is perfect for that, because then I just can read one short story, talk to you about it, and so I don't have to talk about the entire collection as a whole, which can sometimes be a little bit hard. If you're unfamiliar with these Sherlock Holmes short stories, they are just the cases, because the novels, they have like two parts. You first have the case, and then you have the backstory of the person who did it, of like why they did, what the connection was with the victims, etc. So this is just the case, and when it's solved, the story is over. They're incredibly quick, incredibly readable as well. The writing style is really nice. So I am definitely enjoying that. I've read two short stories in this one. The first one is A Scandal in Bohemia, which is about the king of Bohemia who enlists Sherlock's help for something very delicate. We meet Irene Adler in this one, who I knew from one of the movies. I really enjoyed that story. Yeah, I liked it. It was fun. It was not a murder, so that's a little bit different from the Sherlock Holmes books that I've read so far. But I enjoyed it. And then the second story was The Red-Headed League, which was about a pawnbroker who had something very mysterious going on with the Red-Headed League, who like a league of red-headed men, and they offered him a ridiculous amount of money for a very stupid job, to copy the Encyclopedia Britannica. Simply, like, they hired him solely on the basis that he had red hair, because that's what the league is all about. And then suddenly it had ended, and the people were nowhere to be found anymore. So he asked Sherlock, "Hey, can you help me out? Can you find out what's going on here?" That one I had guessed. Not the full extent of it necessarily, but like 90% of it I guessed. So that made me feel smart. But I really like that one as well. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I have read the first two novels in this series, but it's been like a year and a half now, and I'd forgotten just how fun and quick and readable these stories are. So I'm having a good time with this one. And then the last book I have to update you on is Unseelie by Ivelisse Housman, because I finished it last night. This was amazing. I really enjoyed it. I love the world that's created in here. It's so vivid and colorful, and like there's fairies and there's creatures that look like cats but are actually monsters, and then there's like little tiny cutesy dragons, and then some dragons that are a lot less tiny and cutesy. It's just a lot of fun, and I love our main character Seelie. I can really relate to it. There's so many relatable moments in this. And then there's some like laughter, there's some funny lines, but there's also some really sad moments and some really wholesome moments. I loved it. I highly recommend it. This book is really good for fans of Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. And I suspect that Ivelisse Housman is a fan of that series, because I've mentioned before that the world in Unseelie really reminds me of the world in Once Upon a Broken Heart, like the vibes I get from it and the way the world building is done, if that makes sense. It really reminds me. And there was also one specific thing. So if you've read Once Upon a Broken Heart, you know that there is a story called The Ballad of the Archer and the Fox, featured in it, which was a story that the main character's mother would read to her as a kid, and she really loved it. It's mentioned in the first book, but it becomes significant in the second book. But like it goes like this. So there's a couple really in love with each other, but then they're cursed, and the woman changes into a fox, and the man wants to hunt her and kill her and can't control himself. And then no one knows how it ends because that's the magic of the world. But in Unseelie, there is one scene that has quite a bit of resemblance to that story. And I think a little bit too much to be coincidence. So either the Ballad of the Archer and the Fox is an actual thing and they just both pulled from that, or Ivelisse Housman has read Once Upon a Broken Heart. And it's a reference. Either way, I really enjoyed it. This is so good. It's so good. The plot isn't anything new, anything you haven't seen before, but it's such a good character study of Seelie, and yeah, I really loved it. I highly recommend. So that was my update. I am going to try and finish Dreaming of the Eagle this week. That's my goal. But yeah, that was the update. I'm very happy with my reading. Yeah. I see you again next time. Bye. Hi. It is now Tuesday, and I have a lot of exciting things to talk to you guys about. So first, something less exciting, because I decided to put down Dreaming of the Eagle and not continue it. I DNF'd it. This was definitely a me problem, not the book's fault. Because it was very, very well written, and it's really good. I just was 60% in, and I wasn't invested in it. I didn't ever wanted to pick it up. I needed to push myself to continue reading, and I didn't care, and I realized there were so many books I wanted to read, so I put it down. But I definitely think it's very well written, and I wouldn't want to steer anyone away from it, because I think it's a good book. It's just not my book. So that's a bummer. It was very unfortunate. Then I have The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I read the next story, which is A Case of Identity, I think it's called in English. Something like that. This one was incredibly predictable. I guessed it from the start pretty much. So yeah, And I'm also starting to get at a point where there's like a formula, right? And the formula starts getting a little repetitive. But I have a solution for that because I'm going to be participating in the TBR Blitz readathon. I'll link the hosts of the readathon in the description. I'm on Team Beanie Barbarians, even though I don't own a beanie and I don't really consider myself a barbarian. But yeah, but it's all sci-fi fantasy, which I don't mind because I love fantasy. It's my favorite genre. But I do like switching it up, and I can't read like a lot of the same genre um, in a row, or like the same subgenre, or I think they're too similar in a row because then I just get burnt out very easily. So I think I'm just gonna keep this to decide to just break things up because they're so short. It's very easy to just dip in and out just between things so that I don't get burnt out on all the sci-fi fantasy. I've tried to make my TBR so that I have like a lot of different things. I have like YA, I have adult, and then within adult it's like more action packed or more I don't know. So I tried to pick like different books, but it was hard to fit all of the prompts anyway for me with books that I own because I don't want to rely on the library and I want all the points because I'm a perfectionist. But I'll have a separate TBR video for that readathon up this Sunday probably. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep this one to just break it up. And so I think that is actually my biggest chance of enjoying this one as well because I just haven't been reading a ton the past few days, and so it was like what I was reading was a lot of this. It just formula starts getting repetitive. So I mean, it sounds like I'm reading a ton because I'm updating a lot, but as in I finished a lot and I started a lot, but like you get what I mean. So that's what I'm gonna do with this. Also, I bought an e-reader. I've never owned one. I used to just read ebooks on my phone, but I'm not reading this book, by the way. It's just I was trying to make it connect to my library so that I can get ebooks from the library as well. And so just following the instructions and seeing if it worked, and I just picked the first random book that was available just to try it out, which is How to Kill Your Family. And then I turn it off, and it keeps this when it's turned off. I think it's turned off. Anyone who is more familiar with this, tell me, because I don't know, but that's why it's this cover, because that was just the last thing. Like it's actually the only thing that's on here at this moment. But yeah, I'm really happy because that way I can read ebooks. Not on my phone because it's far from ideal. And like maybe before bed because phone's blue light is also not ideal. Which is why it's taking me so long because I don't, most of my reading I do at night, and I don't want to sit there with my phone because blue light and I don't sleep. So this way I can also get ebooks to finish them in a timely manner. The only reason I finished Unseelie, which was an ebook so fast, because I loved it so much. and it was great. But um, yeah, just in your average ebook is going very slow for me compared to physical books. But I hope that that's not the case anymore, and just be a bit more nice to read ebooks in general. And also, I'm gonna be able to read ebooks that are not from the library, like not my laptop, because that's even worse. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm so happy with this. So yeah, and then third announcement, I've created a Goodreads account. Partially because of the readathon, because one of the way to get points is to review everything that you've read on either Amazon, Storygraph, or Goodreads. So, I said I wanted to do Goodreads because that way, like I can complain about the results of the Goodreads Choice Awards. And like then my complaints feel more valid, because if you don't vote, then I don't, like, you can have an opinion, but like you can't be mad at it, I think, because you could have voted. So that's just my opinion though. So now I can do that, and I can officially be mad about the results of the Goodreads Choice Awards. So yeah. I think that's all. Dreaming the Eagle, Sherlock, e-reader, Goodreads. I think that's all I have to tell you. I will make a separate video discussing my TBR for the readathon. But I'm really happy. Another thing, I got approved for my first review copy ever. I'm so excited about it. I'm a reviewer now. Like, who could have thought? I'm really happy. I want to give this a try. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, I had a great day today and yesterday as well. I'm so excited about all of this. So yeah, that were those over my updates. And I'll finish off the vlog tomorrow. Let's do that. Right. Hi, it's Wednesday now, and I'm here to wrap up the vlog. I haven't really read a lot since yesterday. And a little bit of thread I don't really have any opinions about that I haven't talked about yet. So, no true updates, just a wrap up. So what have I read this month? I finished Unseelie, which I really loved. I DNF'd Dreaming the Eagle, which is a very good book, and I still recommend it. It just wasn't my book. I didn't start the Atlas 6. I started Sherlock Holmes, and I started the Jasminblütengarten. So that's it. I will have this one finished by the end of the month. I'm 2/3 of the way through. So that way I only have Sherlock Holmes going. So I can fully focus on the readathon and then Sherlock Holmes to break it up if I need to. So that's the wrap up. I won't be posting a vlog for the next 2 weeks. This Sunday there will be a video, but then the 2 Sundays after that I also won't have anything. Just a heads up there. This was the vlog. I hope you enjoyed. Tell me how your week was, and I will see you again in a later video. Bye.